There are more of these striking stone crosses in this county's hilly, heathery moorlands than in any other part of the UK, 43 at the last count. But where are we and what is the purpose of these things? Find out in just a moment. On today's show, I'm helping a couple sever their ties to town and head for pastures new in the country. Our house hunt gets off to a fabulous start.
It takes your breath away. It's absolutely gorgeous.
But then their enthusiasm wobbles a bit.
Not so keen on the house, I have to say.
Not keen on the house?
Not quite higgledy-piggledy enough.
Today we're in North Yorkshire and these are the ever-beautiful North Yorkshire moors. And back in the time after the Norman conquest, they were popular with Christian pilgrims who used these stone crosses to navigate between the area's famous abbeys. In fact, you can still get from Whitby on the coast to York, which is a journey of around 50 miles, using these crosses as orientation points. That is, if you're not distracted by some of the county's other famous sites. Spanning 3,400 square miles and the largest of all the English counties, North Yorkshire is home to a hugely diverse landscape. Within its borders lie two of England's great national parks, the North York Moors and the Yorkshire Dales, which was given its protected status back in 1954. Its lush green valleys are peppered with historic villages such as Grassington, where the local limestone has formed the bedrock of its architecture for centuries. To the east of the county, the North York Moors are characterised by its purple haze of heather-covered moorland, one of the largest such areas in the country. And with over 1,000 miles of pathways, it's a haven for outdoor enthusiasts. Moving coastwards, you'll find swathes of sandy beaches, rocky coves and towering cliffs, amongst which lies the fishing port of Whitby, from where its most famous seafaring son, Captain James Cook, set sail for the South Seas. Over the last decade, property prices in North Yorkshire have doubled, which means that the average price for a detached home here is £263,000, which is £8,000 above the national average. Not too painful, but if you were going to buy a property in the county's two national parks, the Dales or the Moors, then you'd have to whop another 20% on top of that price. So it seems that people, despite a national downturn in property prices, are willing to pay a premium for beautiful landscape and lovely traditional stone houses, something that the Moors and the Dales have in abundance. Properties in the North York Moors are typically built from local limestone, often dating back to the 17th century. Red pan-tile roofs are a common sight. This particular three-bedroom property in Hutton-le-Hole is on the market for just shy of £355,000. Whitby's historic harbour has many fine examples of architecture spanning the last 300 years. Many of the Georgian and Victorian buildings were originally built to accommodate families who worked in the fishing industry, such as this two-bedroom house priced at £250,000. Farming has always been rooted in Yorkshire's heritage, which of course is reflected in its building types. This four-bedroom farmhouse with a separate two-bedroom cottage in Ebbston is £565,000. An amazing array of different styles here in Yorkshire, but are any of them to the taste of our buyers today? Let's meet them. Bob, a retired Harrier aircraft engineer, and his wife Bernadette, an accountant, live in a four-bedroom semi-detached house on a busy high street in Huntingdon. It's been the perfect family home in which to bring up their three children, but now they want to downsize.
It'd be very sad to go in many respects, but it's necessary. We know that it is far too big for just us. It's our chance, with our third child about to leave, for us to escape from them, because if we were to stay here, then there's always a possibility they decide to move back.
Our buyers also feel they've outgrown the area.
Well, this is a very busy village. The newspapers arrive at about 4 o'clock in the morning, but from then on there's train of vehicles will come down the high street.
Down the high street, yeah.
During the school term, there's children outside, the buses stop just over the road.
Which was all well and good when we had children ourselves.
We want to move away from that completely into a very peaceful environment where people want to come to have peace and relax.
After 35 years together working and raising a family, this move marks a new era of focusing on each other.
We met in 1977, didn't we?
We did, yes.
Just before I went off to university. And along came this chap with his patterned shirt and his tank top and asked me to dance. And then we had a slow dance.
And as far as I was concerned, that was it. When I saw Bernadette, I thought, wow, seriously fit lady. Fit, but she couldn't run very fast, which is why I managed to catch her.
We're good friends, so we just like to be together.
However, when it comes to the property, they don't see eye to eye.
We're looking for somewhere, hopefully, very rural and peaceful with its own land.
No. Not very rural. Rural.
There is a difference of opinion, as you can see. But it won't matter particularly to me because wherever Bernadette is home, so.
One thing they do agree on is the part of North Yorkshire they want to move to, as it's somewhere Bernadette has a strong connection with.
We're looking to move to the North Yorkshire Moors area. Your parents come from not too far away from there.
When we go back to North Yorkshire, we always feel like we're going home.
And our buyers have a romantic vision of features they'd like their new home to have.
I like beams. My favourite thing is deep windowsills. I love deep windowsills, which we don't have in this house.
I'd very much like a wood, and if it had a small stream on the boundary.
Oh, we're very dreaming there.
Apart from a quirky house with lots of character, there's one other important request.
If we could, hopefully have a small property with a couple of holiday lets and maybe some land, so we'd like to have some room for caravans.
Their house is already on the market, so they have a clear idea of how much they can spend on their rural retreat.
The budget we're looking at is £550,000.
Maximum.
Bob and Bernadette would like us to concentrate our search to the east of the county around the historic market town of Pickering. This means they'll be close to family, a good transport network, and plenty of tourist attractions, including the moors. I caught up with them on Yorkshire soil to find out more about their exact requirements. Welcome to Yorkshire, you two.
Thank you.
But you know this area quite well. It's a sort of homecoming of sorts, isn't it?
Yes, it is for me, because my parents come from Yorkshire. So.
And what exactly are you looking for in terms of the spec for the house?
Well, we want a fairly small house. We're not really...
Good.
Don't really want a big house.
Two bedrooms, I think, as a minimum, but that would be fine.
What about the style? Are you fixated on a particular style?
Character, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
We want it to, I think you usually say, you want it to pull on your heartstrings, have some real character to the property. Doesn't matter if it needs a bit of work. Most old property requires work anyway. And hopefully a couple of holiday lets.
Now, talking about the business side, are you looking for something that's totally self-contained, or are you looking to be there looking after people, cooking their breakfast?
No.
Self-contained.
Self-contained.
Yes.
And a little bit of land would be nice as well, because we have dogs, and we quite like to encourage people with dogs to come as well.
Oh,
Yes.
Good, dog-friendly, that's always a good plus. And we have found some beautiful properties.
Oh, good.
Thought-provoking too. So let's go and see them. Follow me.
Okay.
With their £550,000 budget, Bob and Bernadette have set down some clear criteria for their property brief. They would like a house big on character, with a minimum of 2 bedrooms, a couple of self-contained holiday lets or outbuildings that could be converted, and some land for possible caravan pitches. Of course, we've got 3 fabulous properties up our sleeve, but we won't be revealing how much they cost until they've had a guess first. Lastly, we'll serve up our mystery house with a business that could be the cherry on the cake. Mindful of keeping close to the moors, our house hunt gets underway in the hamlet of Langdale End, with the amenities of Thornton Le Dale a 20-minute drive away. Thornton may be a village, but it's certainly vibrant and is home to a strong local community. It's also a popular stopping-off point for walkers, with a number of local shops, as well as a post office and a pub or two, which will please Bernadette. Although the isolated rural setting of our first house will definitely resonate with Bob.
Wow.
It's a wow, isn't it? It's absolutely gorgeous.
Now, in terms of location, this might be one more for you, Bob and Bernadette, because it's a little bit of a walk to the nearest pub.
I think it might be hiking boots, mightn't it?
I think this is probably one of the most beautiful spots I've showed a house in a long time.
This is just
Absolutely
breathtaking,
lovely.
Alistair.
And the ford's just so lovely, isn't
Yeah,
it?
well, you were poo-pooing his dreams of having a stream and a woodland, but, you know, we have come up trumps. Look at
So we're only missing the pub.
Missing the pub. You could build a pub.
All right, then.
But ironically, it was a pub.
Was it?
Because this was on a drover's path.
Oh, wow.
It was a sort of informal path. And if you look on the barn there's a little kind of, see a little Bacchus head?
Yes.
God of wine.
Oh,
Right. Well, this is really starting
I
off
think we're
very
sold
well,
already.
Alistair.
Oh, enough chat. Let's go look at the house.
Yes.
That was just the reaction I was hoping for. Even though Bernadette wanted to be on the edge of a village, she's blown away by the rustic charm of our first property.
So through this garden room into the sort of kitchen dining area.
Oh, it's lovely.
Very nice.
I do like the thickness of the walls.
I know, massive
size.
thick walls.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
It dates back to about 1840, so it was a proper old cottage. And actually, I think these were all extensions put on in the 60s, so the original one was quite small.
It is
Nice
very
size as well.
And through there, you've got a downstairs toilet and a sort of utility room with a shower.
Oh, right.
Let's look at the living room. And then you have this very simple, but sort of sweet little sitting room.
Oh, it's very sweet, isn't
Really
it?
nice. Yes.
Lovely fireplace.
Yes, you see from the rocks from the moors, and a lovely log burner.
Ah, right. So it's a working chimney. That's really nice
That's
for
a
those
plus,
cool
yeah.
nights. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this is okay in terms of downstairs space? I mean, you've got
Yes.
the kitchen, dining
Yep.
room and this.
Yep.
Yes, it's absolutely right. We are downsizing absolutely. So this is the sort of size we'd want.
Let's have a look upstairs, see if that fits the bill.
So far, they seem pleased by the interior. Leading off the kitchen, there's also a conservatory. But now we're heading upstairs to where there are 3 bedrooms. One is set up as an office, whilst another is being used for storage. There's also a well-fitted family bathroom. But let's see if their bedroom would measure up.
This is the master bedroom.
This is about the right size, to be perfectly honest, isn't it? What we're looking for.
Yeah. We don't need a big house. There's just the 2 of us, so...
This is not the only possibility, because you wanted some space to convert, you wanted
Yes.
some space to have a holiday let. This property gives you that in spades.
Aha, lead on.
On top of a perfectly proportioned home for them, what's outside could generate a robust income.
This is your holiday let potential.
Oh, wow.
It's a beautiful, very well maintained barn building, but they have planning, which is now lapsed actually, but apparently be very easy to get
Oh,
again.
that's good.
I mean, inside it's pretty much a shell, but it's not up and running, so is that something you'd be prepared to do?
Well, again, that would depend on the price, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would.
Yes, very true. It keeps coming back to the price.
Well, I have one more bit and then I'll tell you the price.
The outside space is a major selling point of this property. It comes with just over 7 acres, so lots of land for the dogs to roam and the potential for a caravan site. Time to take a view on what else our first house gives them.
So there's also this sort of, I don't know, so it was some sort of shed. But
Right.
that's also has, in the past, had planning permission to turn into a
Yes.
freestanding holiday let. Simple.
Oh, right. That's very good as well. So, are we actually in the national park here?
We are literally, at the end of your land is the beginning of the moors, and that's actually Dalby Forest over there. So that's one of the biggest mountain bike tracks in the country. Very
That's
famous.
useful, isn't it?
You've also got a big chunk of this woodland here, and then a big chunk of land behind the house. So just over 7 acres.
That's nice.
It's the full package.
It is.
It is.
It is.
What about the price?
Well, you wouldn't show it to us if you couldn't afford it, would you? 475?
I think with all the land, it's probably a bit more expensive, so I think about 520.
Luckily for you, it's somewhere in the middle. It is £500 short of £500,000. So 499, 500. So go off and explore a bit more, and then I'll meet you at the front.
Okay.
Thank you.
Head back in.
Our fantastic first property comes in £50,000 under budget and is awash with opportunities. The main house provides them with a modern and spacious kitchen diner, but with character features such as a stone fireplace in the living room, 3 possible bedrooms, and 7 acres, with a sizable pot left over to convert those outbuildings into holiday lets.
Wow. Just
It's
takes your breath
beautiful,
away.
isn't it?
Yeah. Especially with all the heather. You can see for miles over there. Just think this could be ours.
Well, when Alistair first brought us to the house, I thought it was absolutely stunning. The barns would be absolutely ideal to be converted into holiday lets. The only downside is, of course, the isolation.
It is just stunning. And the more I've seen, the more I like the property. It's perfect.
Really is a beautifully quiet spot here, apart from the little squawk of the chicken and your tender footsteps as you come back. All
Right,
done?
We are.
Good.
Yes, thank you.
Right, well, I'm going to whisk you away to the next property before you have too many thoughts on this one.
The North York Moor's dramatic scenery is one of contrasts, ranging from lush green valleys and woodland to a heritage coastline. And set within it lie an array of man-made landmarks that stand testament to how people have settled in and navigated this rural landscape. A prime example of this is the North Yorkshire Moor Steam Railway, which runs from Pickering, dubbed the gateway to the moors, all the way to the coastal town of Whitby. The North Yorkshire Moors Historical Railway Trust help with its maintenance, and Vice Chairman Chris Cubitt has offered to take our buyers aboard. This nostalgic journey is strongly linked to Bernadette's own family heritage.
We really look forward to coming out here today because
Always feels like we're coming home because my grandfather was the last signalman at Levisham.
Oh, we're coming up to Levisham now. Levisham's just 6 miles from Pickering.
I've got a few photographs.
yes, we one in particular which we thought was quite interesting was this one here. I think you probably recognise the engine.
I recognise the engine, and I could tell you the date roughly. It was April 1964.
And some 50 years later, the station remains as it did in her grandfather's day.
We're just pulling into Levisham now.
Right.
Can you say your granddad was a signalman here?
That must be where he used to live, that little house there.
Yes,
Yeah.
there's the cottage, then there's the 2 station cottages after. Yes.
The North Yorkshire Moors line was planned by famous railway engineer George Stephenson as a way of opening up trade routes inland from Whitby. These days, it's popular with day passengers and a source of pride for the Trust.
How many people are there then working on the North Yorkshire Moors Railway?
Well, we have approximately 100 full-time staff, and then we have approximately 200 to 300 volunteer staff.
First opened in 1835 as the Whitby and Pickering Railway, the first trains were initially horse-drawn, except when they were hauled by rope up a steep incline into the moors at Goathland, which is the next stop.
Well, we're now at Goathland, which is our celebrity station, really. We have people coming, you've seen it with Heartbeat, Aidensfield Station. This is what people know it as. But originally, when the North Yorkshire Moors Railway set up in 1967, Goathland was the headquarters of the North Yorkshire Moors Railway, and during time, everything was moved down to Pickering, where our head office is now.
It may be nearing the end of the line for this journey, but we're certainly going full steam ahead as our house hunt continues. Our second property takes us coastwards to Robin Hood's Bay. Set in the cliff-edged shoreline, this former fishing village is a popular tourist destination, as it's close to Whitby, with a 7-mile walk along the Cleveland Way linking the two. And our second property embraces the fact that this area is such a draw for holidaymakers.
You will never guess why I brought you to this property.
I think we might.
You think you might? Because look at the view, Robin Hood's Bay.
It's fantastic, isn't it?
It's lovely.
And as you can see, this property has a caravan park attached.
Yes.
Up and running.
5 hard standings.
Yes.
And then this is the property, a 1920s house, extended in all sorts of directions.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on this?
Not so keen on the house, I have to say.
Not keen on the house?
Not quite higgledy-piggledy enough.
What about you, Bob?
Yes, I know it's not exactly what we were looking for from the outside, but hey, I want to see what's inside and see what else is going for it.
So should we have a look inside?
Oh, yes, please. Great. Thank you.
Although the regular exterior doesn't appeal to Bernadette, she should reserve judgment because, as she'll see later on, this house does have bags of potential. But first, let's get her view on the interior.
So come on, we're going in the back door, country style, straight into the kitchen.
Oh, it's quite pleasant.
Yeah. It's spacious, isn't it? Yeah.
I was thinking the opposite, actually. I was thinking it's a little bit small.
Right.
Sorry.
No, at all. And it does actually go through into a very formal dining room that looks out with a big bay window over the sea. So there's a possibility that you could actually knock through if you wanted to. They've kept it as two.
Yes, I think that would have to be a possibility, yes.
OK, well, we haven't finished the tour. Let's go and have a look at the front. Nice hall.
Nice hall.
Spacious.
So here we have well, this is their sitting room. So again, like most Victorian sort of turn of the century houses, you have the two big rooms at the front. So there's a dining room on that side of the hall, and then this on this side. And they've extended, actually, just before they moved in, so about 20 years ago, they put this sort of bay extension on.
Makes the most of the views.
Yeah,
Yes.
and brings in a lot more light.
Yes.
It has.
Is there any shift in your mood as you've come to the front?
Yes, it's nice at the front, yes.
And through that door, there's a little added bonus.
Yeah, right.
So, surprise, surprise, it's another house.
Oh, right.
So it's a self-contained house, really. It's got a kitchenette and a sitting room, and then upstairs a bedroom and a bathroom.
It's very sweet.
With a separate entrance.
Yep.
So it could be, if you separated it out properly, as a holiday let.
Yes, distinct possibility.
You're being quite muted. I'm getting that it's nice, but it's not your nice. Is that right?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Nothing's won you over yet.
It's not pulling at the heartstrings.
And Rob, you're...
They're very practical. The only worry is that our son sees this and thinks, I'm going to move back in.
I've got a feeling Bernadette has already made her mind up about this house, but hopefully upstairs will sway her. On the first floor there are 3 bedrooms, which include 2 spacious doubles and a family bathroom. But we'll take a look at what would be theirs.
And then this, the master bedroom, with its own ensuite.
Oh, very nice.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes. That's plenty big enough.
Yeah, another good-sized room.
I mean, again, it's all about lying in bed and looking out over the view.
See that view,
What is it that's not doing it for you? Just the style, or...?
Yes, I think so. It's just...
It's not old enough for you,
No.
really, is it? She
It's-
much prefer the older property. I do as well, to be perfectly honest, but I'm more worried about the business and I'm worried a bit more about the house later, so to speak. So.
Well, we're talking about the business. Perhaps we should have a look at the business options outside.
Right.
Our buyers are clearly looking at this property with 2 very different mindsets. Bob is focusing on the business potential, whereas Bernadette is more concerned on the look and feel of the house. As we move outside, I'm pretty confident we'll address Bob's priorities, but who has the final say?
So it's a lovely veranda they put on as soon as they moved in to maximise the view.
Yeah, the veranda's very nice.
That is such a lovely view.
And the view is absolutely to die for.
That's a killer, isn't it? And actually, there's quite a lot more which you can explore later. So there's the double garage and the workshop. There's also a veggie garden. There's a duck pond. There's a stable block. There's an orchard. There's 2.5 acres of land.
That's a lot.
It's quite a
That's
considerable
fancy.
plot. So you can see they've maximised the caravans. They've got 5 standings there, but they also have permission for 10 camping places.
Oh, goodness.
It does sort of fit your brief in a way, because it gives you everything you want, but clearly it's not quite fitting the taste
It does.
brief.
Yes, well, you've given us the holiday let, you've given us the caravans, you've given us the land.
The land, yeah.
How much do you think it all costs her, this little package of business potential?
Right. Well, there's a lot here. Lots of land, a lot of potential, the holiday let inside and the camping facilities. I think it's going to be right at the top of our budget, about $550.
525.
55. Well, in this instance, you're both wrong. And actually, it is a bit over budget. It's on at 560. Probably a big sigh of relief you there because you've got an ace card there where you can say, oh, we can't possibly afford it. I love it, but can't afford it. So I'd like you to have a look around because there is a lot to look at in the grounds particularly, but also inside because I think, even though it might be not your taste with the furniture and things, but I think it does have good bones and some potential. Give it a go.
Central house.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You see? See, it's Bernadette who makes the decisions. I've clocked that now. Because, you know, from the beginning she didn't really like it, and that's fine because, to be honest, most people make their decisions about a house in 10 seconds. And no matter how many of the bits of the puzzle we did offer, if it doesn't really make her feel at home, then what can we do?
Priced at £560,000, our second property is £10,000 over their budget. On paper, however, it does meet many of their demands. They get a home for them consisting of a kitchen diner, 2 reception rooms and 3 bedrooms. But critically, there's a stream of holiday let income from the 2-bedroom annex and an up-and-running caravan site, all wrapped up in 2.5 acres of land, part of which they could use for pitching tents.
Not a bad-looking property, not the sort of property we would normally consider buying. But I like to keep an open mind because I'm more worried about the business side and whether we can earn enough money to survive.
In one respect, you've delivered everything we asked for. We've got the holiday let, we've got the caravans, and we've got the land. But unfortunately, the house is just not my cup of tea, not to my taste at all.
It is a beautiful view, and I suppose the trouble of having a caravan in front of your view, it sort of, you know, spoils it a bit. I was just thinking about whether you could move things around, but anyway, we're done here.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Time now to actually regroup and just have a think about what you've seen and prepare yourself for tomorrow.
Yeah. Thank you.
Sounds exciting.
As the day draws to a close, it marks the end of a thought-provoking first day's house hunting. Armed with their £550,000, Bob and Bernadette from Huntingdon want to put down roots and start up a holiday-let business in North Yorkshire. So far, our property pendulum has swung between finding them a charming home and serving up the income they're looking for. So what will they make of the mystery property?
I'm not quite sure, actually. I'm a bit sort of dumbstruck at the moment.
And I discover how Yorkshire's music and dance tradition is being kept alive.
You can understand why they call it God's own country, and you can also understand why people pay a premium to live here. And that premium is putting a pressure on our buyer's £550,000 budget, partly because Bernadette quite rightly knows exactly what she wants in terms of the living accommodation. She doesn't want to be too remote either. And also because Bob is very conscious, I think, of getting some income in from a business. So the mystery house really gives them everything. It's a village location, quirky old property, and it's up and running business. However, it is a bit of a long shot. It struck me that it might be more imperative to have a house that you love rather than a business that's making money. Does that seem like a fair comment?
Well, we really need both. We need to be happy in the house as well as having a business.
Yes, that's very true. With the budget we've got and the value of properties up here, we know it's a little bit tight, but having the right property that we want to live in for some time is very important, and that will allow us, we think, to develop a business if necessary, so we could probably survive for a while as we have work done or indeed have holiday lets built.
For the mystery house, we're driving around 10 miles north of Pickering into the North York moors to Rosedale Abbey. However, I'm taking my buyers on a slight detour. This is what you came to Yorkshire for, isn't it?
Yes,
These amazing views.
It is, yes. Yes.
But I brought you up here because this used to be, you can't really imagine it, but back in the sort of late 19th century, this was like a massive industrial area because they found ironstone in this hillside, and these are the kilns. They used to be the kilns where they purified it.
Okay.
And it was it was like the Klondike Suddenly there were 500 people, and then suddenly in the space of 10 years there were 3,000 people living here. There were many abbeys scattered across the moors. In fact, and there's stone crosses that guide your way through them if you were a pilgrim. 43 of them.
Presumably they'll go, well, the Whitby, Rosedale
Whitby
direction
to
then on
York, 50 miles.
To York? Oh, right.
You can still follow the crosses, apparently.
Be a good walk, that, actually.
Be a good walk.
Yeah.
But let's do the first abbey on the stop, which is Rosedale down there. Follow me.
Lead on.
And just down in the valley sits our mystery property, which marries their different interests in a rather original way.
Now, this is a very good mystery house. Because you were very keen to have a business, you were very keen to be in the centre of the town.
Right.
And so this is for sale.
Wow.
Oh, that's different.
It's Rosedale Abbey, village shop and tea rooms.
It certainly is a mystery.
It is a mystery, and I think it's very interesting for you. Probably not what you were thinking about, but
No.
in terms of a business, it's very, very good. It has a turnover of around 172,000.
That's good.
It's got campsites all around, so there's lots of guaranteed trade. You're right, you don't even have to get out of bed to get your milk because it's actually in your front room. What are your first thoughts about running a village store and tea room?
I'm not quite sure, actually. I'm a bit sort of dumbstruck at the moment.
Yeah, it's
a curveball, huh?
It is. It is.
A complete surprise it may be, but now I've reassured them that the setting and the sums of our mystery propositions stack up, let's see if it's a lifestyle choice they'd sign up to.
Come in. Ooh, it's exciting. This could be your village shop. I mean, not your village shop, but actually your shop in the village.
Could be.
Is it something you could imagine yourself doing?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's just such a surprise still. I'm just trying.
I think the two of you would be good running a village shop. I can see you doing it.
I'm thinking of the amount of work.
Yeah, and that is the thing. It's a job.
Yeah,
It
I mean,
is.
yes, well, we've got to work. We've got to earn money. And you haven't seen the house yet either, because that's...
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
Exactly. So this is a shop, and then next door, very busy tea room. Oh, look, lovely cakes. Smell of coffee. So you can see it's a good-sized tea room. This is the business. So you've got the shop, you've got the tea room, both very successful. And then the house is directly above.
Now we've tackled the business side, it's time to look at the mystery property in more detail. Attached to the cafe downstairs is the professional kitchen, but all their accommodation is upstairs. First up, the main reception room.
So it's an unconventional house, because obviously all the living space is upstairs.
Yes.
And this is the sitting room.
Oh, it's nice size.
Nice and
and
light,
light.
Yeah. I mean, you really are in the heart of the village. You can see everything that's going on. But you're, raised up high and relatively private. But it is small, it's a downsizing move.
It is.
How do you feel about I mean, obviously you haven't seen it all, but I mean, in terms of living above your business?
I honestly don't know. I'm still...
Processing.
in shock, yeah. It's just,
Picking our chin up off the floor at the moment, aren't we?
Yeah.
There are 3 good-sized bedrooms up here, and we're heading straight for what could be their room.
So this is what they're using as the master bedroom.
Oh, it's light and airy, isn't it?
it's a nice size as well. As you know, it's a surprise to us, and we've not lived upstairs above anything like this before, but it feels very homely, actually. There's a nice feel about the property, so I don't have a problem with it.
I'm going to ask Bernadette, because I know that you are more... it's more important to you. Can you imagine this as a home?
Yes, I think we need to do a bit of work.
Sure.
It's certainly doable.
The 2 remaining bedrooms lead off the main hallway, one being a large double and the other currently used as an office. There's also a light, well-fitted kitchen diner. Time to survey what outside offers.
So this is the private garden. In terms of the land, I mean, it's not anywhere near as big as some of the other properties I've shown you, but it's altogether unlike the other properties anyway, so...
That's true.
What about the finances? How much do you think it costs?
I think it's going to be above our budget. 560.
Bernadette?
I think it might be a little bit more. 575.
575. So you both guessed considerably over your budget, but actually this property is under your budget.
Oh, that's a
Wow.
surprise.
It's on at 539,950.
Oh.
Just under 540.
That's actually... That's a surprise, but it's a very pleasant surprise.
Good, that's what we like to hear. So I'd like you to explore, because maybe just check out the village a bit, also spy on the clientele, see who's coming in and out, and think about the housing, because I appreciate that it's a different offering. And then I'll see you out the front, maybe with a cup of tea.
Sounds
lovely.
good. Thank you.
In you go. They took that very well on the chin, because even I would be thrown. They suddenly gave me this incredibly up and running business in a beautiful place. Not quite what I was expecting. So well done, Bernadette and Bob, for taking it on the chin, and it'll be interesting to see what they actually think.
Priced at just under £540,000, our mystery proposition brings work and life all under one roof, in a lucrative but rather left-field arrangement. Bob and Bernadette get a 3-bedroom property whose living areas, to use Bob's word, have a homely feel. Downstairs, the village shop and tea room business turns over more than £170,000 a year and puts them at the heart of a fantastic community.
I was completely shocked and surprised. I'd guessed it might be a run-down property we'd have to restore. I had no idea it'd be an up-and-running business in such a beautiful village like this. So it was a huge surprise. The outdoor space is actually quite good for a property with this sort of business, but that's where it'll be a little bit more difficult for us, because it'll be harder for us with the dogs, people coming and going. So we need to think long and hard about that and see whether that's actually doable.
I think it's a delightful village, a lovely shop, good viable business. The accommodation is big enough. I'm just not quite sure that we both want to be working full time. I think we'd both have to sit down and have a good talk about this one.
Old school telephone box. Can't beat those. Hello, guys.
Hi.
Hi.
Looked around?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Tea,
Had a good
cake?
look.
Tea and cake, yes.
Excellent. So now time to reflect on the houses that we've seen.
Yes.
Come with me.
Along with spectacular coastline and beautiful beaches, the historic town of Whitby also has a strong cultural heritage. One highlight of its annual calendar is Whitby Folk Week, which takes place every August. Now in its 47th year, this is one of the country's biggest folk festivals and celebrates the music, dance and song of Yorkshire and the rest of the British Isles. I've come to the festival on its penultimate day to meet Barry Evans, one of the directors, to find out more about the important role the event plays in showcasing the country's traditional genre of music.
Sadly, the fishing's gone out of Whitby, but is this a good tourist boost, the folk festival?
The folk festival is the largest income generator to the town in the year.
Oh.
There are still core people that are still keeping the traditions alive, thankfully. So I find it all too sad that too much of the population of this country know too little about our musical and dance heritage.
And is it singing and dancing? What else is it?
Singing, dancing, children's. We have some pure children's events. It's one of the largest storytelling festivals in the country, and we encompass all the genres of traditional music and dance.
Great. And I know this is the last time you've got lots to do, but you have organised a little taster of...
Yes, we've got you going up to meet the Yorkshire Garland Group. We're going to run you through a song. You're going that way and over to the spa.
See you later.
And we'll see you
Thank you,
later.
Barry.
Cheers, Alistair. Thanks.
Before I venture onto the streets of Whitby to sample some music and dance firsthand, Ray Paget and some members of the Yorkshire Garland Group, founded in 2006, have offered to open my ears to the county's folk song tradition.
So, is there a kind of quintessential Yorkshire song, or a song from the maybe from the coast along here, Whitby way?
Well, I think probably the most famous song is a song called 70, which was to do with a disaster, a sea disaster.
Always about disasters.
Of course, that's right. It started off as a poem, and there's been a lot of research done about it since.
So you're all of you going to sing?
Yes, I think so.
Good.
OK.
Take it away.
Thank you.
And it's 70, boys and men, were lost from Grimsby town. From Yarmouth down to Scarborough, many hundreds more were drowned. And it's 70, boys and men, were lost from Grimsby town.
Oh dear, that song may tell a lamentable story, but the festival at large definitely sets the tone of celebrating our country's historic musical roots. Time to return to our byres, where hopefully our houses have hit the right note.
So how has it been coming back to Yorkshire? Has it confirmed that this is the place you want to move?
Most definitely, yes. Yes.
Great. Let's talk about the houses one by one. The first house, quite remote, but very beautiful. What are your thoughts about that now in retrospect?
It was lovely.
Yeah, from my point of view, it was perfect. I think it was the setting. It was so peaceful. There was lots of wildlife around. The outbuildings, presented with opportunities to develop the holiday lets. And the house was quite small, but actually that's the sort of size we're looking for. So, truly downsizing. Just wonderful. And I think for people wanting to holiday and get away from it all, I think we could provide a really good setting for them.
And Bernadette, your worry about it being remote, has that got bigger or smaller over time?
I think we'd have to consider it.
What about property number 2? Because this was much more on the beaten track, as it were. This is where a lot of tourists came.
Yes.
Wonderful views, absolutely wonderful views. I'm afraid the house just didn't do it for me at all. It's just not my style.
Having the vans so close to the property was not really to my liking, but again, I was trying to look from the business point of view to see what we could do, but definitely not your style of house, was it?
No.
So the Mystery House, this was a business in a period property. In fact, you couldn't see the business when you were sitting up in your sitting room because it was underneath you. What are your thoughts about the Mystery House now?
I thought it was lovely. The village itself was absolutely beautiful, and the business itself was doable, but it would be very intrusive in our lives.
It came as such a shock, not an unpleasant shock, because we hadn't ever considered that sort of business and sort of lifestyle. But it does add some further complications, and the fact that we could be tied to the property and the business for relatively long periods of time. So, and that's not what we've been looking for originally.
And what happens next? Would you go and revisit any of them?
Property number 1 was, from, as I've said all the way through, I think has been fantastic.
Absolutely. Your favourite?
It is my favourite, yes. It really does sum up what I was looking for. I know Bernadette would like to see that, pick it up and move it close to a village.
I would.
But
that would be my dream.
That was perfect.
Once they invent that machine that picks up houses and puts it in different places, I'm going to be a very rich man. Well, I hope that you come up here and find a business that doesn't intrude too much on your lifestyle.
Thank you.
Thank you.
North Yorkshire really delivered beautiful landscape and incredible properties, I thought. Although Bob and Bernadette really do illustrate a classic escape dilemma, because once you find a beautiful home with views like this, do you really want to share it with strangers in order to pay the bills? Well, luckily you at home don't have to find an answer to that question, because you can keep on watching. So join us next time for more Escape to the Country.
And if you'd like to escape to the country in Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland or England and need our help, please apply online at bbc.co.uk/be on a show.